Welcome to the only place that dares to cover topics like lore, comics, pop culture, games, all on one channel. My name is Josh, and this is the Divine Comic Geek. So today, we're going to be talking about DC's greatest superhero, or at least DC's greatest superhero in my opinion, that just doesn't get enough screen time. High school student Virgil Hawkins was your typical teenager. Average, unpopular, and bullied quite a lot. One day, the bullying had gone too far and Virgil feared for his life. In an attempt to stop his bully, Francis, he confronted one of his friends, Wade, in hopes he could help him. This ended up getting Virgil involved in an all-out Dakota gang war between a bunch of rival gangs, and it went extremely bad. Cops fired tear gas at the gangs and Virgil while trying to stop the gang war. Unknown to them, however, this tear gas was not all it seemed to be, as it was an unmarked agent known as quantum juice or Q juice. When the chemicals were released, it caused an explosion known as the Big Bang. This caused mutations, turning every gang member and Virgil into metahumans or bang babies. Due to the violent explosion giving birth to a new breed of superhumans, both good and bad alike. While this allowed Virgil to manipulate electrocurrent, shoot blasts of static from his hands, fly on a board using electricity, and a bunch of other cool things, including rendering metal and bullets against him practically useless, his bully also gained some superhuman abilities similar. Rather than electricity though, this gave his adversary the ability to manipulate and control fire. So think firebending, but like 10 times worse for Virgil.
What a trip! This is gonna be fun.
On top of this, Frida was at the scene of the event where Static got his butt handed to him in a fight against Hotstreak, who also had powers. So, yikes. On top of this, Frida was there witnessing the whole thing when Static took his mask off and revealed who he was to her. The only person at the scene who saw who he was. For the first time, Static up till this point was literally catching a bunch of criminals, and he was pretty charismatic about it and was enjoying it.
Special delivery! I had business at the warehouse and look what I found.
Who are you?
The name's Static. I put a shock to your system.
Good line.
After asking how Virgil lost, Virgil told Frida about his fear about being bullied and how he froze up, remembering how Hotstreak used to bully him back as Francis. Frida reminded Virgil of his powers and said, "But you can do something about this now. You actually have the ability to stop Francis, and if you don't, then who will?" Gaining newfound confidence, Static headed into the city, found Hotstreak, beat him, and won, saving all the people and the citizens of Dakota City. Static Shock first appeared in issue number 1 of his self-titled series Static back in June 1993. Originally, the project published under Milestone's Comics, headed by creator and founder Dwayne McDuffie. The character was inspired by and meant to be a modern era take of Spider-Man. The only problem was the character Spider-Man was already owned by Marvel Comics, so when offered a position to join Marvel's comics with the character Static, that unfortunately didn't go through, as they already had an archetype Spider-Man or Peter Parker. So Virgil was eventually picked up instead of Marvel by DC Comics, thereby becoming one of DC's greatest superheroes, especially in the 2004 WB series, with Static's best friend and sidekick, Rick Stone, helping him outcatch villains with his tech-savvy skills and building all of the gear for both him and Static, including Rick's famous hover pack. In the comics, Rick isn't really aware of Virgil's identity, and Virgil's secret is only seen by Frida, both his crush in the comics and on the show. However, she never finds out his true identity in the show. Like, the show literally ends with Static keeping his powers, which isn't like the comics where he decides to keep his powers but give up being a superhero. And in the show, he pretty much goes on to college with everyone still wondering who is Static, with only, I believe, his sister finding out, his dad finding out, his mom when he went back in time finding out, the Justice League finding out. So basically a lot of people finding out except those who were really close to him and not superhuman or part of his family. A common misconception is the character is related to or the son of similar powerhouse character Black Lightning. Though not related, they both do share similar abilities, and Black Lightning on multiple occasions has even decided to teach and mentor and help Static, or Virgil, harness his static electric abilities. Can't speak today. My tongue is tied. I don't know why. The quickest way to get started in this comic series is to purchase a copy of Rebirth of the Cool, which covers a lot of that information I just gave you, as well as his origin story from the very beginning. You'll get how he escaped, you'll get the backstory on some of the characters, including his interactions with Rick Stone and Wade and a bunch of other characters. So that'll be great for you if you definitely want to get into Static Shock. Honestly, this is the artwork I like for Static the most. Most represents him in my opinion. Flying on his hover disc. And yeah, Rebirth of the Cool by Dwayne McDuffie, Robert L. Washington III, and Jean-Paul Leon. Make sure if you haven't already, go check that out. And if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content like this. Can't wait to share more with y'all in the future. Alright, take care.